Giggle the Pages! Yay!
Once upon a time, in a land called Canaan, there lived a young boy called Joseph. He had 11 brothers, but he was by far the favorite son of his father, Jacob, who had even given him a special coat of many colors. The fact that he was his father's favorite made his brothers jealous, and they were not very nice to him. Story of Joseph for Kids. Joseph and his coat of many colors. Joseph had also been given a special gift by God. He was able to interpret dreams. This meant that he could understand the messages which the dreams held. One day, Joseph had a dream that he was in a field with his brothers. Each of them were gathering bundles of wheat. Joseph's bundle of wheat stood tall and strong, while his brothers' bundles all bowed down to his. Story of Joseph for Kids. Joseph's dreams. When he told his brothers about his dream, they were not at all happy to hear this. One day, after Joseph had a second dream, his brothers decided to get rid of him. They threw him into a deep, dark pit and planned to leave him there. However, as Joseph sat in the pit, his brothers saw some traders passing by and decided to sell Joseph to them as a slave. These traders took Joseph far away from his home. He was now all alone and very scared. Story of Joseph for Kids. Joseph gets thrown in the pit. The traders took Joseph to Egypt, where they sold him to a man named Potiphar. Even though he was a slave, Joseph worked hard and did everything to the best of his ability. God was with Joseph and blessed everything he did. Potiphar noticed how well Joseph was doing and made him head of the household. However, Joseph was just about to face another difficult situation. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of something he didn't do, which made Potiphar very angry. Even though Joseph was telling the truth, Potiphar believed his wife and had Joseph thrown in prison. Story of Joseph for Kids. Joseph in Egypt. God looked after Joseph while he was in prison, so he didn't lose hope, and even continued to use his gift for interpreting dreams to help the other prisoners. One day, two of Pharaoh's servants, the cupbearer and the baker, were thrown into the same prison as Joseph. They both had troubling dreams, and Joseph was able to explain their meanings to them. The cupbearer's dream meant that he would be restored to his position in 3 days. Unfortunately, the baker's dream meant that he would be hanged in 3 days. Joseph's interpretations came true, and he asked the cupbearer to remember him to the Pharaoh. But the cupbearer forgot all about Joseph for a long time. Story of Joseph for Kids. The cupbearer and the baker's dreams. One day, more than 2 years later, Pharaoh had very puzzling dreams himself, which none of his wise men could interpret. Suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about him. Joseph was immediately called to the palace to interpret the Pharaoh's dream. He explained to Pharaoh the dreams meant there would be 7 years of plenty in the kingdom, followed by 7 years of famine. Joseph advised the king to save up food during the good years, so that they would then have enough food to eat during the bad years. Story of Joseph for Kids. Pharaoh. Pharaoh was extremely impressed with Joseph, so much so that he made him the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. Thanks to Joseph and his God-given gift for interpreting dreams, many people throughout the kingdom were saved from starvation. During the severe famine that followed, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt seeking food. They didn't recognize Joseph, but Joseph knew who they were, and he forgave them for what they had done to him. Story of Joseph for Kids. Pharaoh listens to Joseph. Joseph's family then moved to Egypt, and Joseph himself became a great leader. His story shows us the importance of forgiveness, trusting in God, and using our own talents to help others.